stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good evening. I think I'm like 5 minutes late, aren't I? It's all right. I'm already done sharing. Fix the camera. A little blurry. I'll actually be reading out of AA Comes of Age. Coke, my habit. Sorry, because there's a running joke that I have a Coke habit, and then my wife's my Coke dealer because she's the one that goes shopping. So, yeah, I did a 2-hour nap today. I feel pretty good. I'm still kind of waking up. Got a message from Adams County, and they're like, we want to do this empathy group to figure out what it's like for people in detox. And I wrote them back, like, what a waste of time. I'll just tell you what it's like. Let's not guess. Let's ask. That's the problem. So, all right. I'm already running people off. So, what it feels like actually lately, people have just been kind of jetting. Who knows? I can only guess. And all of it's an assumption, so it's not like it's true, right? Welcome to Daily Trudge. You know who I am. If you don't know who I am by now, then this is the first time you watched. So if you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Live or the rewatch. I'm going to go out tomorrow and get me a different car. I'm getting rid of the Benz. It is, just isn't working for me. I have to be doing a lot of driving around here shortly, and I need something that's going to actually start and run in the snow. And I found this Honda. Here, I'll show it to you. I like old Hondas, man. They work really well for me. Here, right? See, but this is the reason why I want it. Where is it? It's a stick. It's not showing it here. Not showing it, but it is a stick. It better be, because I thought it was. Anyway, let's stop sharing that. Let's get to this. All right. So we have two parts here. It's still a reading from July 28th in the Daily Reflection. It says, those who still suffer, right? Let's read this part first and get it over with, and then we'll get to AA Comes of Age. It says, let us resist the proud assumption that since God has enabled us to do well in one area, we are destined to be a channel of saving grace for everybody. AA Comes of Age, page 232. AA groups exist to help alcoholics achieve sobriety. Large or small, firmly established or brand new speaker, discussion, or study, each group has but one reason for being: to carry the message to the still suffering alcoholic. The group exists so that the alcoholic can find a new way of life, a life abundant in happiness, joy, and freedom. To recover, most alcoholics need the support of a group of other alcoholics who share experience, strength, and hope. Thus, my sobriety and our program's survival depend on my determination to put first things first. I agree with all that. I know I need the group. I do. I need people in my life, you know. Maybe they're not all best friends or, you know, or even friends. Most people I know are acquaintances. But they're also the kind of acquaintances where if I needed help, I could certainly give them a call, you know. But you know, I don't get invited to a lot of stuff, but that has more to do with my PTSD. A lot of people know I have that. So it's just under the assumption that I can invite myself if I want to. So that's how I take it. Just never really know what's going through other people's minds, right? But I kind of wanted to, it reminds me of the responsibility statement. And if you don't know it, a lot of people I'm sure do. But the responsibility statement goes as follows. I am responsible when anyone, anywhere reaches out for help. I want the hand of AA always to be there. Right. And that responsibility statement was put together for somebody just called my name. Babe, are you here? Hello? It's not the first time in the last couple of weeks. Not the first time. Sounded like my grandson. Anyway, the responsibility statement was put together for people that, for the professionals in our lives. We do need the professionals, very much so. So, all right, let's get started. If you have the book, a lot of people don't have this book. Somebody gave it to me a while back. So this is under what's called 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And I'm going to start at the very bottom of page 231 if you have this book and would like to follow along. As a society, we must never become so vain as to suppose that we have been the authors and inventors of a new religion. Oh gosh, no. I should not even I shouldn't even cover that for you, right? Yeah, because we already know we are not a religious society. So therefore we are not a new religion. We are not. We will humbly reflect that each of AA's principles, every one of them, has been borrowed from ancient sources. I like how they say borrowed. We stole it, but it's there to be stolen. It is supposed to be stolen. That's the whole part of it. I want you to steal my recovery. I do. What is that? Sorry, that's just a weird email that I got. Oh, okay. I get a lot of weird emails from Adams County because I'm part of a team and they like to abbreviate everything. And I wish there was what it was. All right. I apologize. Thank you for that. We shall remember that we are laymen, holding ourselves in readiness to cooperate with all men of goodwill, whatever their creed or nationality. I do a lot of talking with other people that work in the field, right? Now I tend to knock on recovery coaching a little bit. So I'm actually gonna compliment it today. I'm gonna take the other way. Because I know a lot of really good recovery coaches. I do. There's plenty of them out there. Some got maybe caught up in some other things, but the idea of being a recovery coach, or the idea of a recovery coach is actually a great idea. And I think it should stick to that. There is a difference between a recovery coach and a peer support specialist. The peer support specialist tends to have a little bit more sobriety. Now, a recovery coach, really, they're only as good as their resources. But when you don't have the right resources, it's kind of hard to do that. And that's what I'm trying to change here, right? So that we have the right resources for the recovery coach to send people to. Otherwise, what will the alcoholic do? They will make shit up. I would. That's what I would do, right? You bet. And I would think that I had every valid reason to do it too. So, but we have to cooperate. And I like this, whatever their creed or nationality. There's a little thing down here. Speaking for Dr. Bob and myself, I would like to say that there has never been the slightest intention on his part or mine of trying to found a new religious denomination. Dr. Bob religious convictions. Dr. Bob held certain religious convictions, and so do I. This, of course, the personal privilege of every AA member. All right. Then, too, it would be a great product of false pride to believe that Alcoholics Anonymous is a cure-all, even for alcoholism. Yeah. I needed some other things in order to maintain my sobriety. And my sobriety is a lot more, let's just move it to recovery. Recovery is a lot more than just staying sober for me. It also includes a lot of other things. Going to meetings, my family, therapy, doctors. Recently, I have a pastor in my life now, right? More of a friend than a pastor, though. But when I seem to be in spiritual despair, that's who I go to. Now, I noticed, and this is kind of a side note, I noticed lately that, I've been calling some people just, oh, this is going on, that's going on. So lately, I've just been calling, and if they don't answer, I leave a message to say, I was just calling to see how you were. I hope you're having a good day, because it's really all I wanted. Let them know, hey, I'm still here, and it's not just always about problems or situations, things going on. I'm curious to know how you are doing also. All right. I'm kind of waiting on something. All right. Here, we must remember our debt to the men of medicine. All right. There was a lot of people like Carl Jung who attributed a lot to Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't know if it was direct or not. I do know that a lot of the teachings of Carl Jung were introduced into Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't know if it was at the same time or not. I'm not awake enough to figure it out in my head. Quite honestly, I don't want to. All right. But the men of medicine, what do they call it? Naloxone or something like that. That's out right now. I did some digging into it. It has some side effects, but it's great. Naltrexone. Now the men of medicine came up with that. And what it does, it helps lower the cravings for alcohol. Now, as an alcoholic, I don't understand this, because for me, it was an obsession. And I don't know how they're curing that obsession with that. I think it blocks the opiate receptors or something like that, so that when you do drink, you ain't getting nothing out of it. And that can kind of lower it. Unlike antabuse, where if you drank on antabuse, it would have killed you. Well, God, I'm being so very, there's a chance it could kill you. Okay? It will, because that's not true. So here we must be friendly. Okay. Not only friendly, but ethical. Okay? Now, it could be tough because, like they sent this thing out for the detox, and the way they're talking, I didn't understand. I'm like, you need to you need to lower this down to my level here a little bit because the industry's changed. They use new buzzwords and things like that, and it's okay to ask those questions. It's okay to ask hard questions, but that doesn't mean I get to be rude about it, right? I did have to cause a little bit more pain of saying, this just feels like we're putting it off. This feels like we're going to spend all year on it when it should have been done the 31st. So I asked some hard questions. And at the end, I'm like, if I am wrong on this, please let me know. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Because really, I'm just trying to understand what they're doing so I can be of the most effectiveness. Okay? Because what they do want to do is put groups together to figure out what it feels like to be in detox. I'm like, I don't need that. I've been there. I've been there. So here we must be friendly, above all open-minded towards every new development in the medical or psychiatric art that promises to be helpful to sick people. I've found plenty of things that have come out since this book, since AA started, that have helped me a lot. Cognitive behavioral therapy is fantastic, which is Alcoholics Anonymous. It is, all right? So they took a behavior therapy, which is just a rearranging of the mind. In fact, let's find out. Let's find out real quick. What is cognitive behavioral therapy?
According to American Psychological Association, CBT treatment usually involves efforts to change thinking patterns. These strategies might include learning to recognize one's distortions in thinking that are creating problems, and then to reevaluate them in light of reality. Gaining a better understanding of the behavior and motivation of others.
Sound familiar? Just a short version of kind of what we do, right? Gaining a better understanding of the behavior and motivation of others. What does cognitive CBT and what does it do? It may help you change unhelpful or unhealthy ways of thinking, feeling, and behavior. Here's a good one. What are the 5 steps of CBT? Let's see what they say, man. 1, assessment and engagement. Now, these are the 5 steps that a therapist will use, because step 5 doesn't count for us. That's steps 1 through 5. Actually, it's steps 1, 2, and 3. Formulation. That's 4 and 5. Active intervention. 6 through 9. Maintenance and relapse prevention. Steps 10, 11, and 12. Step 5, termination and evaluation. All right. See how the scientific world and God can fit together. Isn't that cool? Kind of sucks nobody showed up to this one. Oh, I'll still have a good attitude about it. It doesn't always work that way. Somebody will watch this eventually and it'll help. We should endorse none, especially, but hold ourselves in readiness to cooperate so far as we can with them all. Let us constantly. Oh, before I move on, there's another one out, and it's called not out, and it's called evidence-based treatment. Let's ask it what that means. Okay, evidence-based treatment.
Healthcare interventions that have been scientifically proven to be effective in treating specific conditions.
Didn't really go into it, did it? It is based on the integration of the best available research evidence, clinical expertise, and patient values. Examples of EBT, CBT, EMDR, medication management, lifestyle modifications. This is still just CBT. It's just they've gone a little bit further with it, right? Now, they included something in here called EMDR. And for anybody that is one of those peoples where we have those mental disorders that, that they talk about in the big book, okay, my PTSD, I handled it with EMDR, and it was great. Uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable, but it worked. It worked. All right. Let us constantly remind ourselves that the experts in religion are the clergymen, that the practice of medicine is for physicians, and that we, the recovered alcoholics, are their assistants. Wow. Wow. I'm going to have to remember some things, aren't I? Yeah. Well, I have been more lately, and I'm talking about Adam's kind of things that would, because that's who I have to use in this situation, the East Metro Detox. I have to be more of the assistant. And that's the part that I'm getting into. And it's the part that I really enjoy. Okay. And it's a help me help you. What do you need from me? What do you need from Dion that's going to help this for you? Right. So, all right, we're going to do one more paragraph. There are those two who predict that Alcoholics Anonymous may well become a new spearhead for spiritual awakening throughout the world. No, that's not going to happen. Now, I will say that I know plenty of normal drinkers or people that don't drink or whatever, people that are not non-alcoholic. We'll just even go that far. There are a lot of people who never had. My brother-in-law never had a drink in his life, ever. Not a sip of beer, nothing. And I believe him. Okay, he's Christian, and he has just never believed in. He has always believed that alcohol is just bad, and that it goes against what God wants for us. So he didn't do it. Right. So. But now he found God way before, he didn't. So anyway, but there's a lot of our slogans that are taken a day at a time, life on life's terms. Easy does it. Yeah. A lot of these things you will see out in the world. You'll see them hanging in people's offices. Oh, are you in the program? No. What's that? Well, you got that sign there that says easy does it. That comes from AA. Oh, it does? Oh, I did not know that. I just thought the slogan was really cool. It helps me out a lot. But what we say earlier, well, it said that we borrowed all this, has been borrowed from ancient sources. When our friends say these things, they're both generous and sincere. But we AA must reflect that such a tribute and such a prophecy could well prove to be a heady drink for most of us. That is, if we really became to believe this to be our real purpose of AA, and if we commence to behave accordingly. Our society, therefore, will prudently cleave to its single purpose, the carrying of the message to the alcoholic who still suffer. And here's the part that was in the other reading. Let us resist the proud assumption that since God has enabled us to do well in one area, we are destined to be the channel of saving grace for everybody. No. And that helps me out a lot because I will go out and try and help everyone. It's kind of who we become. Does that mean that we can't help other people? Sure we can, but to think that our way of life is the only way is a bad assumption. That would be bad. There are a lot of pathways. I mean, because really this is just a pathway to God. That's what it is, to a better life or to your higher power, however you want to put it. But in AA, you get to choose what you want to call it. You get to choose some of these things. And that's where the freedom comes in. And that's why it's a little different for us. So, all right. Well, I hope somebody gets something out of this. If not, I got something out of it. I realize that I need to be more of an assistant to these places than I have been. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Tell me somebody had it sooner or later. I love you.